Good morning, children. Today we are going to discuss a topic called components of food. So, what are the components of food? In the previous class, we discussed that the food items that we eat are made up of so many ingredients, right? So, these ingredients are obtained naturally either from plants or from animals. So, these ingredients we are eating, we are making our food with these ingredients because these ingredients, they have something important, essential for our body. You are drinking milk. Why? Because you know that milk has got something which is good for your body. You are eating eggs. Why? Because the eggs, they have something in them which is useful for your body to be active, to stay alive, to fight diseases, to be healthy, right? So, we are eating the food and we know the fact that the food, it contains something which is important for our body. We are going to explore what is that something in this lesson. By studying this lesson, we will find answer to these questions. The first one is, what are the components of food? We are talking that food has got something good. Yes, we need to drink milk, eat eggs, fresh vegetables and fruits. Why? Because they have something which is good for your body. What is that something? What are they? Do they have any specific names? How to identify them? How to prove that? My mama says that this banana has got some vitamin, some mineral. Carrot has got some vitamin, yay. Eat rice, it has got carbs, carbohydrates. So, they say all these terms, how to identify them. We can do that. Here we will learn what are the components of food and how we can identify them, how we can identify their presence and how we can prove their presence to somebody else. Some of your friends says, hey, my teacher says potato has got starch. I don't believe. You can make him believe with a simple experiment. You can show him that the potato has got starch, carbohydrate. So, here we are going to see what are the components of the food and how to identify them. The next thing, the next answer you will get for this question, like how are they helpful for us? The food we are eating, it has got some essential things which we call them as nutrients. They have got different names, we will see. So, these nutrients, how are they helpful? What is the role of each nutrient? We need to have all the nutrients in a balanced proportion. So, what are the benefits we get from each and every nutrient we are going to learn in this topic? Then we will go to the third one, what kind of diet to be taken. So, what kind of diet to be taken? The diet, it varies from people to people, person to person, place to place, country to country, state to state. They have different type of food items. But basically, they will make their food with a proper mix of all nutrients. If any food is made in such a way, that is called as a balanced food, balanced diet. So, it is very important aspect that you need to know what kind of diet you should take. It depends upon your body weight, it depends upon your body activity, it depends upon your age. So, you are children, that means you are all in the growing stage. You are still growing, you are not grown-ups, you are growing up. Your body need a lot of raw materials to make your bones and flesh, to build up a strong body. You need to supply the raw materials. So, an aged person, old man, they doesn't require much food. If they take more food, they cannot digest. So, depending upon the age group, depending upon the activity they do, somebody is doing a job sitting in front of a computer, needs less amount of food. Someone who is doing very hard physical work, he is lifting the things, carrying the goods, heavy goods, manual work, labor, needs more food. So, different people need different types of food. So anyway, whatsoever the food we take, it should contain different kind of nutrients in a proper proportion, in a right proportion, so that we learn here under this heading about the diet to be taken. So what happens if proper diet is not taken, the last one? Somebody says that I don't care all these things, just I eat what I like. So that is the policy that you have. You wanted to eat what you like every day. I like chicken every day. I don't eat any rice or rotis, or just I eat chicken. Somebody says that I eat only the fried veggies. I don't want any boiled or cooked veggies. I don't like them eating raw. I don't like the taste. So I want all the veggies to be fried. They are fried in oil. So that is the case. So if you have any policies like that about your food, if you do so for a long time, what happens? Right? We will discuss here what happens if you do so. So I want only drinks. I drink plenty of soft drinks a day. So that is also not a good or a balanced diet. We will see the complications, what happens if we are not taking a proper diet. So these are the 4 different things that we are going to discuss in this lesson, components of food. So let us see the first one. What do different food items contain? In the previous class, in the previous lesson, we have seen the food items are made up of different ingredients. Idli. Idli is made out of urad dal and broken rice. So this rice and urad dal mix, the combination with salt and water, it makes the idlis. Those are the ingredients. So any food item you take, a food item is made up of ingredients. So by what these ingredients are made? Food item is made out of ingredients. The ingredients, they contain some components called as nutrients. So let us see the relation here. We use some ingredients to make a food item. How do we choose the ingredients? We choose the ingredients which are having the nutrients. We don't choose the ingredients which do not have any nutrients. Say for example, to make a food item, I don't choose paper. I don't choose wood or bark of a tree. If I choose the bark of a tree, I choose the wood powder, or I choose the paper, or I choose the leather. If with those items I prepare the food item, is it useful? No, we cannot eat it. Even though you try hard to eat that, you cannot digest it, because those items do not contain the nutrients that are required by your body. You cannot digest it. You don't have enzymes in your body. So to make a food item, what kind of ingredients we are choosing? We are choosing the ingredients which have got good amount of nutrients that are useful for our body, needed for our body. So the ingredients, what we choose to make the food item, the ingredients, they have the nutrients. But here the question comes, all the ingredients, do they have all the nutrients? Of course not. Some ingredients are good in some nutrient. Say for example, first let us see what are these nutrients. There are so many nutrients. We are categorizing them into groups. First, carbohydrates. So carbohydrates is a group of nutrients. There are so many types of carbohydrates, so many types of sugars are there under this carbohydrates. We are categorizing all the sugars and starches to carbohydrates category, and basically we get energy from these nutrients, energy. The second one is proteins. Proteins is the second category. Proteins are the kind of nutrients. We will see their uses in the coming topic. Now let us see the third one, carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, vitamins, minerals. I write fats here beside carbohydrate, fats or oils. Why I am writing here? Both these fats and carbohydrates provide us with energy. Carbohydrate, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, all these are the nutrients. They are very, very important for our survival, for the maintenance of our body. So here, these are the nutrients present in the food item. I already told you that every ingredient do not contain all these nutrients. Say for example, you take rice. The rice may not contain all the nutrients, but it contains some nutrients in larger quantity. Say the rice, it contains maximum carbohydrate, some very less amount of mineral, vitamin content, but major part is carbohydrate, right? So if you take beans or meat of animal, it contains large amount of proteins, less amount of fat and carbohydrate, right? So likewise, if you take any other food item like salt, it doesn't contain any carbohydrate, it doesn't contain any protein, vitamin, it will contain the mineral. Salt is a mineral. So the ingredients that are used to make the food items, the ingredients, they contain some essential components called as nutrients. Some ingredients contain some nutrients in large quantity. So here the major nutrients that we generally identify, carbohydrate, fats and proteins. We can identify them in the food items. So we can test their presence with the help of some equipment, but of course, we cannot test the presence of vitamins and minerals, it is difficult. But easily you can identify the presence of carbohydrate, fats and proteins from the food items. That means the food that you are eating from your lunch bag, you can take some samples of food and you can test it to identify the presence of this particular nutrient. Somebody said that your rice, it is carbohydrate. Yes, you can test a small lump of rice you can take from your lunch box and you can test the rice whether it contains starch or not. Okay. So the proteins, you can take some pulses and you can test whether they contain protein or not. You can take some egg and you can test it whether it is protein or not. So that kind of simple experiments we can do to identify the presence of these nutrients. What nutrients here? We have so many nutrients here: carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamin, minerals. Out of this, a few like carbohydrate, fat and protein presence can be identified. Let's see. So now I told you that we can test the presence of the nutrients in the ingredients. So in the food items, we can test the presence. So now let us see, for testing carbohydrate, that means to know that whether the food item has got carbohydrate or not. Carbohydrate test. Second thing is protein test. Protein test. The third one is fat test. That is to find out whether the fat is present in the food or not, carbohydrate is present in the food or not, protein is found in the food or not. So what are needed? We need certain items, certain chemicals prepared to do the test. The first one, for carbohydrate, you need iodine solution. Iodine solution. So this iodine solution is available in the laboratory. In your school laboratory, your teacher will provide you the iodine solution. If you do not have iodine solution, you can take one small test tube, half filled with water. Now add a few drops of tincture iodine. Tincture iodine is available in the medical shops, used in the dressing. So that iodine you can add, your iodine solution is ready. For the protein test, you need to have copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate solution. So along with this copper sulfate solution, you need caustic soda solution, caustic soda, copper sulfate plus caustic soda. So, separately you need copper sulfate solution, at the same time you need caustic soda solution also. So, to make the copper sulfate solution, what do? You take 2 grams of copper sulfate and add with 100 ml of water. In the same way, for this caustic soda solution, you need 10 grams of caustic soda and add it to 100 ml of water. Your solution is ready. Solutions are ready. Copper sulfate solution, caustic soda solution. So, to do a fat test, what you need is, you need a paper, just a small paper you need to do that. Now, let us see here how to do the carbohydrate test. So, you wanted to test whether a food contains carbohydrate or not. Here in these cases, in these two cases, carbohydrate and protein test, the sample in the sense the item which you are going to test, the item which you wanted to test, that is called as sample. The sample, it should be in the liquid form. For example, you wanted to test the rice in your lunch pack. You have taken a small lump of rice, right? Make it into a paste, press it, add some water and put it in the test tube and add some more water. So, now the pressed rice, what you have pressed into small bits, small pieces, and this rice, it is mixed with the water. So, now your sample is ready for testing. Once the sample is ready, you can add a few drops of iodine solution. When the iodine solution is added to that, if the sample, it contains the carbohydrate, it turns dark blue color, deep blue color, deep blue. So, the deep blue, it indicates it contains starch. Rice, it contains starch. Same way, if you take a small potato, a mashed potato, and mix it in the water, put it in the test tube, add few drops of iodine, you will get deep black color, deep blue color. It almost looks like black. It's because the potato, it contains the starch. So, the food item which you have selected, if it is not having any starch, there is no color change. If the color is changed to dark blue or deep blue, it indicates the sample, it contains carbohydrates. In this way, you can test the presence of carbohydrate in the given food item. You are given some food item and you are asked to test whether carbohydrate is present or not. What do? You take the food item and you make your sample ready. How do you make your sample ready? Take the food item, crush it, mix it with water. So, it should be in a liquid form because we are adding the solution, it should properly mix and react with that. Sometimes on a solid also you can directly test. Say for example, you have cut the potato into 2 halves. On the cut half of the potato, if you put some iodine drops, you will see that the iodine drops, they turn dark blue color. Right. So, on the rice also directly you can put, but in some cases if you wanted to see the test properly, then you can take it in a test tube, mix it with water. Right. Otherwise, directly you can put the iodine drops on the food item itself, but you see that you do not taste or eat the food after you put the iodine drops. So, we are not supposed to taste or smell these chemicals. These are all chemicals. Iodine solution, copper sulfate solution, caustic soda, nothing to be tasted or smelled. And more important is that you need to do these activities in the supervision of either your teacher or your parents or any of the elders, your brother or sister, elder brother or sister. You cannot do all these things alone, you cannot make your own experiments. You have to follow all the cautions that are to be followed while doing the experiment. So, here iodine solution can be put directly on the food item, or you can take the food item and you can make your liquid sample, mix it with the water, then add the iodine drops to identify the color change. So, when do you confirm the food has got carbohydrate? When the color changes to deep blue color, then you confirm that the food has got carbohydrate. If there is no color change, there is no carbohydrate in the given sample. So, moving on to the next one, protein test. You wanted to know whether the food item has got protein or not. So you are going to test whether a piece of chicken or something, beans, you crush them, mix with water. Now here you are going to add copper sulfate solution and caustic soda solution. So now let us see how to do this protein test. Take a test tube, add approximately 10 drops of water. Now take your sample, which sample you are going to test it, crush it into fine paste or powder, then mix the paste or powder to this water. And now you are going to add 2 drops with the help of a dropper. 2 drops of copper sulfate, CuSO4, copper sulfate, and 10 drops of caustic soda. You are going to add here and shake it. If the contents in the test tube, they turn violet in color, it shows the presence of protein. Protein is found, protein is present. When the color changes to violet after adding copper sulfate solution and caustic soda. If there is no color change, then there is no protein. So in this way you can identify the presence of protein in the food item by doing this protein test. The next one is fat test, which is very simple. Fats are nothing but the oils present in the food items. Most of the food items, they contain certain amount of fat, but some items they contain large amount of oil. Groundnut, we get groundnut oil for cooking purpose, sesame oil, coconut oil, mustard oil. So all these oils are from seeds which contain high amount of oil. You wanted to test whether a food item has got oil or not. Take the food item, put it in a paper, fold the paper and press it hard and remove the paper. Now the wet content of the food sticks to the paper. Some food items may have water also, that water also may stick to the paper. But if you dry it for some time, the water patch will go off. If there is any oil, that oil, it makes an oil mark on the paper, oil patch. You can see the oil mark. If you keep the paper against to a light, you can see that the oil mark. You might have seen. Sometimes it happens to your textbooks. So you are reading so seriously, your mom gives you some snacks to eat, some bundi or something which is fried in the oil, some french fries or something. If accidentally they fall on your textbook, they will make a mark, oil mark. Right? Sometimes it happens in your notebooks also. While you are doing your mathematics problems, accidentally some of your snacks which are deep fried in the oil, if they fall on the book, they will make some oil marks. Right? So the oil, it makes a mark. So with the help of that mark or patch, you can identify the food, it contains the fat. So that is the fat test for the food. So in this way, we can identify the nutrients like carbohydrate, proteins and fats found in the food. Foods also contain vitamins and minerals, but you cannot easily test them. You need much more complex equipment, more number of chemical solutions, which are called as reagents, and you need to have different temperatures for the reactions. You need to have a hot air oven. So many equipment are needed. You will be doing that in your higher classes. So right now, with the help of this simple equipment and simple chemicals, now you are ready to test the food and find out. So this you can do with the help of some elders, in the supervision of your teacher or your parents. You can conduct these simple experiments to identify the nutrient present in the food item. Okay, now let us see the role of nutrients in our body. Let us begin with the carbohydrate. Carbohydrates. So I told you that carbohydrates, they provide us with energy. Along with carbohydrates, the second one, fats. Carbohydrates and fats, both these nutrients, they provide us with energy. Energy is the primary requirement of our body. Without energy, you cannot do any activity. Even your body cannot run itself. It cannot maintain itself. You need to have energy to maintain your body. Even though you are not doing anything, studying or running or playing or right, just you are sitting idle or sleeping, even then your body needs some energy for maintenance, right? So the energy is provided by carbohydrates. The carbohydrates, they include so many things like starch and sugars. Starch is found in the rice, wheat, so the bread, it is made out of wheat, rice, pulao, biryani, these are made out of rice which contains starch, and even the steamed rice you mix with curries and eat, and the rice flour is used to make dosa, idli, so that is also starch. Sugars, all the fruits, they contain the sugars. The white sugar that you use in the tea, coffee, milk, that is a sugar, it is also a carbohydrate. So all the sugars and starches are carbohydrates, they provide us with energy. At the same time, the fats, oils, so the vegetable oils and fish oils and animal fat, you are consuming meat, chicken, it contains fat, it contains oils. So these oils are also, they provide us energy. So the next one, the third one, proteins. Proteins are the nutrients that are essential for our growth. They are the bodybuilding and disease fighting nutrients. So those nutrients are required to make your body strong. If you are growing, a growing stage, your bones and muscles are to be grown up. So your muscle is made up of protein. It's made out of protein. You need lot of protein to be eaten to stay fit. If you wanted to grow your muscles, you're going to gym, exercise daily. So you wanted to tone your body, you wanted to build your body by doing certain exercises. So what you are required to eat? You need to eat foods which are rich in protein. You need to eat egg, which is rich in protein. You need to eat beans. You need to eat meat, which are rich in protein. So if you take the protein food, that helps to build up your muscles. Proteins, they are the body building foods. They also help to protect your body from diseases, right? So they help to maintain proper immunity in the body. For the formation of new cells, you need protein. So the cells in our body are damaged. Every day, a certain number of cells are destroyed and new cells are formed. For the formation of new cells, you need proteins, right? So proteins, they are made up of another smaller components called as amino acids. So anyway, we are not going to discuss about these amino acids, but just remember that the proteins are the body building nutrients. So next one is vitamins. Vitamins. So what are these vitamins? Vitamins are the essential nutrients. They are helpful to maintain proper health. In our body, so many reactions takes place. So many reactions. Our body is very, very complex. In our body, there is a lot of chemistry and physics going on. Your body is like a lab. So many reactions takes place in your body, each and every cell. For all these reactions, you need some special substances called as vitamins. Energy is not sufficient to maintain proper health. If you take carbohydrates, they are not sufficient. You take simply proteins, they are not sufficient. You need to take vitamins for a proper maintenance of your health. The vitamins are of different kinds. The vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin C, vitamin B complex. That means there are so many number of B vitamins, B1, B2, B3. Likewise, there is a set of B vitamins. That set is called as B complex. But here why I have written separately A, D, E, K and C, B complex. Generally, these vitamins A, D, E, K are found in the foods which are rich in oil, fatty foods. They are found in the fatty foods, oily foods mostly. They are dissolved in oil. Here, vitamin C and B complex, they are found in water soluble vitamins. These two are called as water soluble vitamins, right? So vitamin A, if you take vitamin A, we will get this vitamin A in carrots and colored fruits, papaya, mango, papaya, orange and yellow colored fruits and vegetables. You have plenty of this vitamin A, which is very, very important for a good vision, right? So in our eyes, there are certain components inside our retina. For the formation of that components and for a good vision, you need to have vitamin A in your diet. So for the small children, now the government is giving the supplement in the form of drops, vitamin A drops. Children below 5 years age are taken to the government hospitals or health centers where they are given vitamin A drops. Nowadays in the schools they are supplying vitamin A tablets. So the vitamin A is very important for the vision as well as bone growth also. Vitamin A is important. The next thing, vitamin D. Vitamin D is very much important for our proper growth of our bones and teeth. Bones and teeth in our body need calcium. But without vitamin D, your body cannot absorb calcium. You drank one glass of milk, it has calcium. But it will not go to your bones and teeth until unless you have vitamin D in your food. So vitamin D, it helps for the proper absorption of calcium from the food to your body. Calcium is important, but if you take the calcium, your body cannot absorb it, take it, unless until you have vitamin D in your body, in your diet. So vitamin D is important. Of course, vitamin D is it is available in the foods in very small quantity, vitamin D. It's available in certain kind of fish. In vegetables, you don't find much vitamin D. Then how do you get vitamin D? You get this vitamin D by standing in sunlight. You expose your body to sunlight, then the sunlight, it makes some component found in your skin into vitamin D. Vitamin D is prepared in your body. So you are getting the vitamin D prepared in your body itself, but when you are exposed to sunlight. So from sunlight we are getting the vitamin D. That it doesn't mean that you are not getting vitamin D from the sun. Sun is not giving you any vitamin. Because of sun, your body is making vitamin D. And vitamin E, it's also helpful for the growth of certain parts of your body, and vitamin K. Now let us come to the other part, vitamin C and B. So now you see the vitamin C. Vitamin C, it is found in amla, tomato, and orange, lemon, guava. In all these fruits, vitamin C is found. So vitamin C, it helps you to fight against the diseases, right? And it prevents a disease called as scurvy. So if you don't have vitamin C in your body, you will get a disease called as scurvy. So the vitamin C, it gives protection and it improves our immune power. It strengthens our immunity. So by that we can fight against the diseases. The next one is B complex. So vitamin B or B complex, it has got different number of vitamins. They are very much helpful for your proper functioning of your body. That is to maintain proper health, proper hunger in your stomach. So by that you can eat well. They are helpful in digestion of the food, absorption of the food, assimilation of the food. All these B complex vitamins are essential. So as we are growing up, becoming old, the old people, you see your grandmother, grandfather crossing 70 years, 60 to 70 years of age. Doctors recommend them some B complex supplement. You see that they will be taking the B complex supplement after having their meals because they need more amount of B complex. Otherwise, they will be giving out complaints like shivering. The nerves become weak. So they need more amount of vitamin supply. Nervousness, sweating, body pains, poor digestion, these complaints the old people give because their diet is deficient of these vitamins. Why it is deficient? because as they are growing old, they cannot digest all the food items. So they limit their food quantity and they limit they eat choosy. They cannot eat all the items, right? So as the age is growing up, they cannot eat. As like you may eat 2 eggs a day, they cannot eat, they can't digest. So when they are limiting their food, they fall deficiency of that vitamins. So if anybody is lacking of these vitamins, they will get some symptoms, some health problems. So doctors will identify with the help of a blood test and recommend you take this vitamin tablet for a month of days, you take this vitamin for 2 months likewise. So the B complex is found in the cereals and grains, especially the grains for which the coating is not removed. We are eating the polished rice, polished wheat, polished pulses. You see the pulses, the dal which you are eating, it is polished. The cover is completely removed and it is cleaned and applied some oil. So it is so shiny. You see the red dal or see Bengal gram or whatsoever you take, it's very looking so fine, glossy. It has got the glossy look because it is completely polished. Even rice also you see that silky rice. Wheat also you see that polished wheat, good color, golden color, right? It's all because of the over polish. So when they over polish, they will remove the top layer of the seed, the grain. The top layer, it contains vitamin B. In olden days, ancient days, how the people used to use the grains? Hand pounding. There were no machines to polish the grains, to remove the husk of the grains, the cover of the grains. The covers were removed, the husk of the grains were removed by hand pounding, right? So nowadays, we don't find hand pounding. It's all putting them in the machine. So even then we wanted to appear the grains so glossy, so silky. So we are removing the total layer of the grains and making them so glossy, so shiny. We are polishing. So if these polished grains, rice are eaten, you don't get any benefit of this vitamin B. So unpolished rice and cereals and pulses are to be eaten to get vitamin B. Sprouts, they are a very good source of vitamin B. Liver, animal liver, mutton, goat liver. So these are the good sources of vitamin B complex, right? So these are the vitamins B complex, C, A, D, E, K, all these vitamins. Along with these vitamins, you need to have minerals also. Some mineral we will get from salt, sodium chloride. And other minerals are found in the fruits and vegetables. And there are some minerals are found in the milk. Milk has got calcium. Calcium is a mineral. Egg, it has got calcium. It is a mineral. Likewise, we get the minerals from food items. Right. So all these nutrients are to be taken in a proper ratio, in a proper quantity. It should be balanced. Then you call it as a balanced diet. But only these things are required for our body or anything else. We need two more important things for our body, that is water, it is not under the food item, and roughage. So what is this roughage? It is nothing but the fibers. You need to add some fiber to your food. If your food does not contain any fiber, your digestive system cannot digest the food properly. It leads to so many metabolic problems, right? I told you earlier, you are eating fine polished grains, they don't have any fibers. So your food becomes so sticky, gluey inside your guts. It's very sticky, just like a chewing gum. You might be enjoying the taste and wondering to see an ad, people eating pizza. They stretch the pizza from their mouth like this, you will find some strings hanging, so sticky. Right? By seeing the ad, your mouth waters, and you find that so delicious, so yummy, you feel the taste. But what happens if you eat that into your stomach? It's all made up of the pizzas, burgers, mostly they use the very refined flour without any fibers, they use maida to make that. You are eating such a refined flour, refined grains without any fibers. So tasty, yummy, no doubt in that. But once they go into your stomach, it finds it so hard, damn difficult to digest it. It will be sticking all the time. It can't digest it. It has to put a lot of force and pressure to do that, even though your intestines are not cleansed properly after digestion. They stick to the walls. They make all kind of nuisance that they can do in your intestines. But you don't know the fact, you are not aware of this, just you enjoy the taste of the food which you are eating, right? So you enjoy the flavor while you are chewing the food. Once it enters the stomach, you don't know what kind of troubles it is causing. Of course, you may be getting some signs, some sounds and some indigestion. Again, you will take something to get it cleared off, but we are not aware that our food, it should contain the roughage or fibers. Fruits and vegetables, they have a lot of fiber. If you eat the fiber, food which contain fiber, it helps in proper digestion, keeps your digestive system clean, and it helps to excrete the waste out. So daily you can excrete the waste, right? So it helps in proper movement of your bowels. In your bowels, the waste food is thrown out of your body easily because there are certain movements in your large intestine. The fecal matter is sent out through the anus. Otherwise, it leads to complications. You will fall under a condition called as constipation, where you cannot go to the toilet every day. Constipation. So it happens when your food is lacking of this roughage or fiber. And at the same time, you need to drink sufficient amount of water. Our body is made out of 70% of our body is water. And for each and every activity in your body, water is the main base material. So you need to drink water, right? So you're doing your work, you're running, you're walking in the sun, you're sweating, and you're not drinking water, you become dehydrated. That means the water is lost from your body. It leads to so many complications. So to make your body fit and healthy, you need to have these two things along with all the nutrients, that is water and roughage. So we have seen the importance of various nutrients, how they are helpful and what are their sources, from where we get these nutrients. So we have seen their importance, we have known. Now you can compose your food, a balanced food, right? So your mom asked, what do you need for today's breakfast, dinner and lunch? Just you can compile a good food item combination. See that every ingredients are coming into your food menu, right? Sometimes you give a preference to the taste, sometimes you give a preference to the health. In some of your food items, definitely make sure that you add certain fibers. Make sure that you add some protein food. Make sure that certain foods, they have vitamins. Don't go only to the foods which are tasty. Generally, the carbohydrates and fats, they have a lot of munching taste. When they are fried, you see potato chips or French fries, very tasty. You find them so tasty. Most of the people like them. They have starch, they have carbohydrate and fat alone, which is not good at all for our body, right? So now let us see what is a balanced diet and its importance, and if you don't take a balanced diet, what's going to happen. So now let us see balanced diet. What is a balanced diet? It's important to eat food. It's important to eat food that contain all the nutrients. So what kind of diet we should take to be healthy and should maintain a proper health? We need to take a balanced diet. Here you see the term balanced. It should be balanced. Balance in the sense, it should include everything, all the nutrients. The food that which you are taking, it should contain all the nutrients. All the nutrients, right? See that the food, it does not contain any one particular nutrient in a very large quantity, nor very small quantity. The food you are eating, if it contains very little amount of vitamins, it's not good. The food you are eating, it contains high amount of protein, lot of protein, not good. So you should see that all the nutrients are included in your diet as per the recommended quantities, right? So your food, it should have all nutrients, all nutrients. So how your food gets all nutrients? So morning you wanted to eat bread, afternoon you wanted to eat bread, night you wanted to eat bread. Of course, you do not choose an item like bread. So morning you wanted to eat the burger, afternoon you want to eat the burger, night you wanted to eat the burger, or the same sandwich. If you are eating same kind of food, you will get same kind of nutrients. It is not a balanced diet. Your food, it should include different items. You can plan in such a way that your breakfast, lunch and dinner, they are made in such a combination that your food, your meal is composed of different items which contain different type of nutrients. So by that you will get a good combination of nutrients in proper proportions. Generally you see that in your breakfast it is advisable to include milk in your breakfast, egg in your breakfast, right? The foods which are rich in carbohydrate. Early in the morning you need a lot of energy. So foods that give instant energy are added. Right, in the lunch you are given the main base food item, that is rotis, or in case of South Indian dish, rice in combination with dal and some sabji, vegetable curries, and dal and curd, dahi. These items, they will make the wholesome, complete food. It's a balanced diet. Generally we include certain kind of greens, green leafy vegetables. So if all these things are added, you call it as a balanced diet. So the balanced diet means a diet which contain all the nutrients in the right proportions. Along with that, your diet should have proper amount of dietary fiber. Dietary fiber or roughage plus water. These two things also should be included in your balanced diet. Without the dietary fibers, even though you take the food items which contain all the nutrients, there will be no proper digestion. So to get a good digestion in your digestive system, you need to have dietary fibers and water. That is a balanced diet, right? So the same quantity of balanced diet is not suitable for everybody. I already told you in the beginning of lesson. Your diet plan is unique and different because you should see your requirements. Your diet should cater the energy requirements of your body. What is your age? So for your age, you should see that how much rice I can eat, how many rotis are sufficient for me. So we should not overeat. Yes, 4 rotis are enough for me. If you eat 10 rotis, 12 rotis, leads to obesity, becoming fat, overeating. So a person who is doing a lot of physical work, or a sports person doing cycling or running, an athlete, needs more food. He needs to eat more eggs a day, more milk a day, because his body needs a lot of energy to do that. So depending upon the work you do, depending upon your age group, depending upon your health condition, you need to plan your diet. But we should see that the diet, what we are eating, it should include all the nutrients plus dietary fiber plus water. So how can we make a balanced diet? So somebody says that eating almonds, eat almonds and kaju, which are very good in proteins. Yes, of course, they are good in protein. Somebody says that eat some of the food items which are very costly. It's a wrong assumption that for making a balanced diet, it need not be so expensive. Of course, you can make a balanced diet with so expensive items. I wanted to add some walnuts in my diet. I wanted to add some almonds in my diet. I want to add some kaju in my diet, cream in my diet, ghee in my diet. All these are costly items. Yes, I write it here: cashew, almond, pista. So these kind of dry fruits I would like to add. I would like to add honey. These are all costly items, expensive items. So people may be in assumption that the balanced diet in the sense it is very costly, expensive. All people cannot afford it. It's a wrong assumption. Actually, the nutrient quality of the food is having very less connection with the economical value of the food, right? Because there are so many alternates. You are getting good protein in almond. You can get it in spinach also. A lot of minerals are there in the spinach. You can get in spinach, which is very cheap. It's very cheap, dead cheap. You can buy it for a cost of 5 rupees to 10 rupees. You can buy spinach, which can give you a serving for your whole family, right? Of course, you may not buy almond with that price. In the same way, cashew nuts, instead you can go for groundnut. Groundnuts are much cheaper than cashew nuts. Groundnuts, they have more nutritive value, more protein compared to that. Honey, instead of honey you can go to the jaggery. Jaggery, good. It is equally nutritious, but with a lesser price, right? So the green leafy vegetables are very less cost. Certain kind of cereals, jowar, bajra, maize, flax seeds, all these are having so many minerals and plenty of vitamins at a very cheaper price, right? So if you are eating the grains or which are not polished, unpolished grains, they have plenty of vitamins. So unpolished grains are less cost. You don't buy them in the market because they are not tasty. You buy the grains which are fine, polished and canned and packed, which are very costly, right? They do not contain the nutrients. So it is not the point that balanced diet in the sense not an expensive diet. So with the available items, you can plan a balanced diet within your budget, because there are so many food items which are available for less amount of money. The thing is here, we should see that the food items contain the nutrients. Here the point is whether you choose the food items based on the taste. As you are all children, so you give preference to your taste. So you will be choosing the food items which are much tastier. You might be knowing the fact in the canned foods or the processed foods or the fast foods or the junk foods that are available in the market or that are available in your close by bakery or which are available in your locality close by mithai shop, there you will find the food items are mixed with so many additives, attractive colors and attractive chemicals to flare up your taste buds. So those are not balanced. In fact, they are tempting foods, junk foods which you are tempted and eating a lot, but which are not nutritious, which are not a balanced diet. So taste is important. At the same time, you should look at the health point of view. So you need to consider the food items which contain all the nutrients, good amount of fiber, roughage and all. If you are eating unpolished rice, you will have plenty of fiber. If you are eating the fruits, you will get fiber. But sometimes what we do, it's very quite boring to eat an apple. It's quite boring to open an orange, peel off the orange and eating one by one. It's boring. It has become boring. So you are doing simply crushing the fruits, squeezing the juice, drinking the juice. Okay, you are drinking the juice means you are getting the water content of the fruit, you are getting the vitamin content of the fruit, but you are missing the fiber. Pulp you are throwing off. But I told you that without the dietary fibers, your diet is not complete or balanced. So you can eat a whole fruit instead of removing the fiber. You can eat the whole grains instead of removing the fiber and making refined flour, right? So we can plan a balanced diet while cooking the diet. Also, you see in case of South India, people make different items like idli, vada, dosa. These are made up of combining 2 or 3 different grains and their powders. Idli, urad dal, black gram plus rice. Vada, the same. Dosa, for that also the same, but the proportions are different. Even for making rotis also, different kind of flours are mixed together to make different rotis. Missi roti, likewise different kind of rotis are made in a combination. So why that the nutritive value is enhanced. right? You can make palak roti also. You can put some green leafy vegetables in the roti, chapati, you can make it. And if you wanted to make some sabji for that chapati in a combination, you can put some green leafy vegetables, fresh vegetables, salads we can make. So with all those things we can take the food. So where it goes to be a balanced diet. So here, by choosing a balanced diet, by taking a balanced diet, okay, we made a plan for today lunch. So what items are to be prepared? We gathered all the ingredients and we have a perfect plan to make a balanced diet. Here the process of making is also very, very important to retain the nutritive value of the food, right? So the cooking practices, good cooking practices. I have very good ingredients with me. I have palak, I have dal, I have rice. So all these good items which are loaded with nutrients are there with me. But the second part is the process. The way we cook them, the way we clean them is also very important. We should see that at no step the nutrients are lost from our foods which we have selected. So the first one is cleaning of the food items. Rice, if you wanted to cook the rice beforehand, the rice are washed thoroughly. So if the rice are washed again and again with water, the top covering of the rice which is containing vitamins will be lost. Overwashing. So in the cleaning process, overwashing, it is not good. But these days we have a hazard, health hazard from pesticides and insecticides applied on the grains. So fruits, vegetables and grains are sprayed with certain chemicals to protect them from the insects, pests. So if you are not thoroughly washing the grains and fruits and all, there is a chance we eat the pesticide. If you do so, if you overwash, you may lose the nutrients. So both the ways problem. So you have to justify this. So overwashing. So as far as we are concerned here, the cleaning process and the pre-processing of the cooking, here overwashing should not be done. Over cleaning of the grains should not be done. Second thing is washing after cutting. After cutting or peeling. Sometimes you see certain vegetables, your mom, first she peels off all the skin and cut it into pieces, then they are thoroughly washed. If this practice is done, all the vitamins present in the fruits and vegetables will be washed off. It's a very wrong practice. You have to clean the fruit or vegetable thoroughly before you peel or cut. Once they are clean, once you remove the dirt or any other thing on the surface cleanly, you can wipe the fruit or vegetable with a cloth, then you can cut and directly cook it. After cutting, if you wash, you are washing not the dirt, you are simply washing the nutrients. It's a wrong practice. So by doing these two wrong practices, we are degrading the nutritive value of the food, right? So if these practices are avoided, you can retain the nutritive value of the food. The next thing is cooking process. How you are cooking is very, very important. If you are cooking any food item by steaming, it's the best practice. The nutrients are not lost. Steaming is the best way of cooking, right? So you can cook rice by steaming, potato by steaming, sweet potato by steaming. So likewise idli by steaming, different items you can cook by steam. Second thing is roasting directly on the fire. Certain items, chicken you can roast, rotis you can roast directly on the flame. So this is also, it is also a better method which you can regain the nutritive value. Third one is frying. Frying makes the food so tasty. Frying the food items in oil, it gives a crispy texture to the food. While you are eating, you feel so crunchy in your mouth. It's so quite palatable, right? So it gives you more interest in eating, and it makes your salivary glands to produce more saliva. So you will get a feeling like eating more and more and more, which is not good for the health. So frying and deep frying, these two practices are not very good. Over frying of vegetables leads to loss of nutrients, because oil boils at high temperature compared to water. If you are cooking any vegetable by boiling takes place at 100 degrees, but frying oil it boils at high temperature, more than 100 degrees, nearly around 150 degrees it boils. So at that high temperature, if you put the vegetables, because of the heat, the nutrients are destroyed from the food. Of course, the food turns so tasty, so crunchy and crispy, but the nutrients are gone. So it is not advisable to fry the food, especially deep frying of food. The next one is boiling. So many items you can boil. As I told you, potato, sweet potato, groundnut, rice, number of items that can be cooked by boiling in water or in steam. So that is the best practice. So how we are cooking the food? Certain food items, we can simply eat them raw by sprinkling some salt, right? It's good, instead of overheating them, instead of over frying them. But generally we give a preference to the frying, right? So because more tasty. Then we go to roasting, and finally we choose that steaming or boiling options, which makes the food less tasty. But from the point of nutrition, steaming and boiling, these practices are good for the health, because they retain most of the nutrients in the fruit, in the vegetables or in the grains which are cooked. So now let us see the eating disorders. So if the food is not taken properly, it leads to some kind of health problems which are called as disorders. Here, if the food is taken in excess quantity, overeating, it leads to a problem. So we should not eat food too much. We should eat only how much is required. Some people, it becomes a habit for them. They keep on eating something. So they always wanted to grind something in their mouth. They're habituated in such a way. Some people, it's a genetic problem. Some people, because of some stress, some kind of other fears and phobias, so they make it a habit of eating something. So this way of overeating leads to a condition called as obesity. Obesity is not only caused by overeating. Eating some kind of foods in large quantity, especially carbs and fats. Eating a lot of carbohydrate and fats and avoiding the protein food, and avoiding vitamins and minerals, and avoiding the dietary fiber. They wanted to eat only the carbs, only the fats. French fries are the best example. Potato fried in oil, deep fried in oil. It's a very dangerous, because they contain a lot of carbohydrate and fat, which make you more obese and obese. They makes your body to be a dump or a storehouse for fat. Fat is gathered or collected in your body parts. You become so plumpy, and fat. That is obesity. Obesity, it's not only a problem for your appearance, it's a problem for your whole body inside. Obesity is a problem for your heart. The heart pumping may be affected, the blood vessels may be blocked, the pressure on the heart increases, the blood pressure increases, heart may fail, and kidneys may get damaged, liver may get damaged, brain may get damaged, and all this happens because of this obesity. Right. So it's happened by overeating, eating certain foods like fats in large quantity, carbohydrates in large quantity. Of course, it is found that some part it is genetical also. Sometimes genetical. Some people, even though they do not eat much, because of their mother or father having the kind of genes by which they are made so fat or plumpy, they become obese. So there is some percentage, but mostly here by this overeating and this faulty eating, malnutrition leads to obesity. Less eating. less eating. That means either the quantity or quality of the food is not sufficient. Sometimes the quantity of the food is not good, means the food is not having any proteins. So you see that in a very poor families, they will work so hard to earn some money to make some rice, some rotis. They do not have enough money to make some curry with vegetables or salads or fruits. They don't have money to buy fruits. So simply by eating the roti, they get carbohydrate. But how their protein requirement, vitamin requirement, mineral requirement are balanced? Not. They eat only carbohydrate. They feed their babies with the carbohydrate. But the babies are to be grown up. They need proteins. So they are given only the carbohydrates. They cannot feed them with protein food, which is costly, expensive, which they cannot afford. Such cases, such children eating only carbohydrates, only carbs. So that also in not sufficient quantity. It leads to a condition, swollen face, and pale appearance, dull hair, discolored hair, right? Their bodies are fluffy, and swollen tummy, swollen face, dull hair, this kind of appearance they have. They are weak. They look fluffy because of accumulation of water, but they are weak. Hands and legs are thin, but you will find a bulged stomach, swollen stomach. They also have diarrhea. So if the deficiency means lack of, if their diet is lack of proteins, only carbohydrates, then this kind of conditions are seen. If the children is given the diet which is deficient of both carbs and proteins, carbohydrates are not there, proteins are not there, so how they will be? Very thin and lean, very delicate. Their bones, muscles, nothing is grown. You can see that so skinny. The people are so skinny, the skin is directly fixed onto the bones. You see that just you feel like a skeleton is covered with the skin directly without any muscle, right? So that all happens if their diet is lacking both carbohydrate and proteins. So this kind of conditions are found in countries which are developing and underdeveloping countries. You see the nations like Africa, underdeveloped countries. So many places in Africa, the people are facing the condition they do not have even water to drink. They do not get proper food. Most of the places in Africa, they get some kind of a root, just like a potato, cassava. They drink the juice of that. They eat that, only carbohydrate. So many people are suffering from the deficiency of proteins. Some places people do not have anything to eat, nothing to eat. They are suffering from deficiency of carbohydrates and proteins. Right? You see the importance of food. But unconsciously, we are unaware of all these things, simply wasting the food. Your mother and father plans a balanced diet for you, and they will pack your lunch boxes. So what you are doing? You're not making, most of you are not doing justice to that, because you are not aware of the importance of nutrients that are loaded in your lunch bag. You don't know that all that nutrients are required by your body. Simply you open the lunch boxes and just keep the box at the tip of your nose and you will smell it. If you like the smell, if it is a fried food, if it is a egg or chicken that is fried, if it is a biryani or a fried rice, then you will finish it off. If it is dal, if it is curd, if it is a vegetable salad or a fruit salad, you deny that and you are throwing it in the dustbin. See what you are doing. It's all called as ignorance. Okay? So we are doing a great mistake. Right? So this knowledge is given in the textbook, that is to apply immediately in your day-to-day life. Right? It's very emergency. It's a very important thing that you should follow immediately. Otherwise, as you are in 6th standard, you are in growing stage. Your body parts, they are an immediate requirement of nutrients. They cannot tell you that they want all these nutrients. So your parents know. We all know that. That's why this is given in your textbook that your body need all these nutrients immediately. You don't care for that. Just you wanted to eat the junk food or the other kind of food that gives you more pleasure. Then your health gets spoiled. So beware of the food items that you are eating. See that the food should be a balanced diet. If it is not eaten, you have seen the conditions, what kind of problems we are going to face. I just discussed about carbohydrate, fats and proteins. If your diet is not included with vitamins and minerals, what's going to happen? Let us see. So now let us see the problems that are caused due to the deficiency of these nutrients in our diet. Vitamin A. We know that vitamin A, it is found in carrots, papaya, mango. The fruits that have yellow or orange color are a very good source of vitamin A. I already told you that this is very much helpful for the vision, proper sight, eyesight, and deficiency of vitamin A, it leads to night blindness. Night blindness. Night time, they cannot see properly. So if this is not cured, if once the night blindness happens, they should immediately take the doses of vitamin A to supply the sufficient amount of vitamin A for proper vision. If it is not done, it may lead to permanent blindness. Permanent blindness. The second one is vitamin B1. So the deficiency of vitamin B1, it causes a disease called as beriberi. What is this beriberi? Muscle weakness. Muscle weakness, muscles become very weak. They cannot lift any loads or they cannot walk. Muscle weakness. They have very little strength. The next one, vitamin C. The deficiency of vitamin C leads to a disease called as scurvy. What is this scurvy? The scurvy symptoms are bleeding gums. Bleeding gums, and if you have any cuts or wounds, they will take very long time to heal. Long healing time. Long healing time is caused because due to the deficiency of vitamin C. We know the sources, they are found in lemons, oranges, amla, in such fruits. Vitamin C is found. Vitamin D, rickets, weak bones or soft bones. Bones become soft if you don't have vitamin D. If you don't have vitamin D, there will be a mental disability, anxiety, depression. At the same time, you will get weakness in the body, weakness in muscles and bones. All this happens because of vitamin D. Calcium. Calcium is also needed for good bone health. Bone health. And teeth. So if you don't have good amount of calcium, your bones and teeth becomes weak. Iron. Iron, if you don't have iron in your food, you will get anemia. Anemia, less iron in the blood. Your blood needs proper amount of iron, then only your blood can function properly. If you are having very little iron in your diet, your blood becomes thin, that means less amount of iron, so it leads to anemia. Iodine. Iodine, if it is less in your food, thyroid problem is caused. Thyroid is a gland present near your neck, it becomes swollen, and mental disability, weakness. So all these kind of changes happen in that. Hair loss, different problems are caused because of the thyroid. Weakness, swollen neck. So these kind of problems are caused. So children, you have seen how many diseases are caused by not eating properly. Most of our health problems are caused because we are not doing the things that are to be done in that way. Everything, there is a procedure. The science has given us the way. By research, the great scientists, they have identified so many things and told us, you do like this, you eat this, you do this, you do exercise, you do walking, you sleep early, you wake up early, eat 2 hours before your sleeping time, drink plenty of water, do some physical exercise, eat healthy foods, give preference to vegetables and fruits. So in this way, so many things are given by the doctors and scientists. So what we do is, we simply ignore that and we welcome these many number of diseases into our body. So what kind of sense it is making? You ignore all the good word, the health suggestions given by the health experts, doctors and scientists. We ignore all that, and your parents are telling you that eat this, eat that, drink this, drink that, don't do that way, don't sit that way, do some exercise, don't play video games all the time, don't play with your smartphones and tabs. They give you so many things. So those are also ignored. So we find some fun in ignoring that. Then we need to have fun in this diseases also. Right? So if you wanted to have fun by ignoring all the health tips which are needed to be followed, the rules to be followed to have a proper health, and if you find something else is more fun, then we are welcoming all these diseases into our body. Is it good? Definitely not. Disease is a very bad condition. It makes you sick, right? So you will lose a lot of things when you are sick. You will get afraid of that disease and you will have a lot of pain. You are not allowed to enjoy your play and you need to take so many better medicines. It's all right. So to avoid such condition, such situations, the only thing that we can do is just simply having a good balanced diet, which is very, very important. If you simply just follow that, do that, you can avoid all these kind of health disorders, all the health problems, maintain a very good health, right? So in this lesson, we have learnt about the ingredients of food items. They contain some components called as nutrients. The nutrients, they have some importance. They are helpful for our body in different ways. What is the role of carbohydrate? What is the role of protein, fat, vitamin and all? How to identify a nutrient in a food item by doing separate different tests. And what is a balanced diet? How to compose a balanced diet? Importance of balanced diet. And what are the various best cooking practices? And if the meal, the cooked meal, the prepared balanced diet, if it is not taken, what happens? If the balance of the nutrients has gone up and down, what happens? What are deficiency diseases? And what kind of problems they cause? So everything we have learnt here, and finally we have come to a conclusion that it's very, very important to have a balanced diet and a good health practices, good food practices to maintain a good health.